It feels like just yesterday we were watching the Magic at Lumen Field. But today, a legendary era might finally reach its closing chapter in the most unexpected way. Seeing our former franchise icon exploring a move to the television booth is a bittersweet pill for any 12 to swallow right now. It is a moment of reflection for a city that lived through every high and every low with him. Before we dive into the details, please help us reach 1,000 subscribers and hit that like button immediately. Russell Wilson is the name on everyone's lips this week, but not for a game-winning drive or a deep ball down the sideline. Instead, the former face of our franchise is reportedly in serious discussions with major networks like CBS to join the NFL Today cast. This news comes on the heels of a recent visit to the New York Jets, where things apparently didn't go as planned for the veteran signal caller. We also have to mention how this connects to Robert Saleh and the leadership in New York, as they seemingly looked at the legendary quarterback and decided to stick with their current room instead. It is a stunning development for a man who was once considered an MVP candidate every single season. The report suggests that after meeting with the Jets, the reality of the current market became very clear to him. New York is currently moving forward with Geno Smith as their primary option, which adds a layer of irony that most Seahawks fans will find hard to ignore. When you look at the names behind the scenes like Robert Saleh, it seems the Jets were not looking for a veteran who might want a starting role or an open competition and were turned down. There were even whispers about his physical condition after some public appearances lately, leading some to wonder if his heart is still fully in the grind of a professional season. This transition to television would almost certainly signify the end of his playing career. It is a massive shift from the days when he was the most elusive player in the league. For us in Seattle, watching this unfold is like seeing a chapter of our own history being archived in real time. He isn't just another player. He was the one who helped bring that trophy home. Now, seeing him potentially sit behind a desk instead of under center is a wake-up call for everyone involved. The situation with the Jets appears to have been the final straw, or perhaps the catalyst for this new career path. Whether it was a rejection or a mutual realization, the outcome is the same. The veteran is looking at a future where he talks about the game rather than playing it. This development is final. Deepening this analysis, we have to look at what this shift really means for the legacy of a man who defined an era of football in the Pacific Northwest. He spent a decade being the ultimate competitor, a player who never believed a game was over until the final whistle blew. To see that same fire now being directed toward a broadcasting career is a major adjustment for the fans who cheered for him for 10 long years. This isn't just about a job change. It is about the realization that the physical gifts that made him a superstar might finally be fading. We saw glimpses of this struggle during his time in Denver and later with the Giants, where he was often used as a temporary solution rather than a long-term answer. The decision to pursue a role at CBS suggests he might be tired of the journeyman lifestyle. No one wants to see a champion bouncing from team to team, fighting for a backup spot on rosters that aren't even ready to compete for a title. It feels like a move to preserve his dignity and his brand. If he joins a major network, he remains in the spotlight, but on his own terms. He wouldn't be the first great to make this leap, but his specific playstyle always relied so much on athleticism and magic. Once those elements started to slip, the game became much harder for him. The locker room impact of a veteran like this is always significant, but if he isn't the clear starter, that dynamic can become complicated. By stepping away now, he avoids the visual of sitting on a bench while a younger, less accomplished player takes the snaps. We have to wonder if this is the noble exit that fans have been hoping for. Instead of demeaning his career by playing for a desperate team just to stay on a roster, he could become the voice of the next generation of fans. It is a strategic move that reflects the reality of the NFL in 2024. For a player who always cared about his image and his legacy, this might be the most logical play left on the board. We wait to see. When we look at the direct consequences of this decision, it really boils down to how we want to remember our greatest moments. If he chooses the booth over the field, it means the Seahawks' legacy stays intact without being blurred by more years of struggling on bad teams. This move could actually help the fan base heal. Right now, there is a lot of tension because of how things ended in Seattle, but time has a way of making us forget the bad and cherish the good. If he stops playing now, we can stop comparing his current stats to his prime years. The risk of him continuing to play is that he might further damage his reputation by looking ill-fit for the modern game. We saw him during a recent appearance looking a bit different than his peak playing weight, and that kind of thing matters to NFL scouts and coaches. If he can't move the way he used to, his entire game plan falls apart. By taking a television job, he secures a massive payday without the physical toll on his body. It is a win for his health and his family. For the league, it adds a recognizable face to the broadcast, which networks always crave. For the Seahawks, it officially starts the clock on his jersey retirement and his entry into the Ring of Honor. As long as he is still a wandering backup for teams like the Jets or the Giants, those celebrations feel a bit premature. We want to celebrate a legend, not a backup. This transition simplifies everything. It moves him from the current player category into the all-time great category. It ends the speculation about whether he can still cook or if the magic is gone. We already know the answer to that based on the last few seasons. Taking this job is an admission that the playing days are over, but it opens a door to a new kind of stardom. It protects his health and his history, which is exactly what a player of his caliber should be doing at this stage of his life. This is the moment. Let's look at the two paths ahead because the tension here is very real. In the best-case scenario, he becomes a natural in the booth, using his charisma and deep knowledge of the game to win over a whole new audience. He could become the next big star of Sunday afternoons, bringing a unique perspective as a Super Bowl champion. Fans would eventually flock back to his side, remembering the joy he brought to Seattle. But if this move fails, or if he decides to keep chasing a roster spot, the worst-case scenario is much darker. We could see him sitting on the sidelines for a struggling team, looking frustrated and out of place. It would be a sad ending to a career that deserves so much more respect. The tension comes from the fact that he is a competitor at heart. It has to be incredibly difficult to admit that you can't do it anymore. Imagine the internal struggle of knowing you were once the best, but now teams are turning you down for younger, unproven talent. That kind of rejection from a team like the Jets, who aren't exactly a powerhouse right now, has to hurt. If he chooses to keep playing, he is gambling with his legacy. Every poor performance or benching adds a new layer of criticism. But if he walks away now, he controls the narrative. He gets to say that he is choosing a new challenge rather than being forced out by the league. That distinction is everything for a man of his stature. We are at a crossroads where one path leads to a fresh start, and the other leads to a slow, painful decline in the public eye. The stakes are high for his brand and his future in the sport. We've seen other greats stay too long, and it rarely ends well. The magic of his scrambles and those moonball touchdowns shouldn't be replaced by images of him being sacked by players half his age. This is the moment where he decides how the final chapter of his football story will be written for the history books. Decisions are coming fast. To wrap this up, the situation is clear. Our legendary quarterback is facing the most important decision of his post-Seattle life. Does he keep fighting for a spot on a bench, or does he embrace a new role as a voice of the game? For many of us who bleed blue and green, the answer feels obvious. We want to see him honored and respected, not struggling to find a job in a league that has moved on. It is time to preserve the memories of those incredible seasons and let the new era of his life begin. Be honest with me, do you think he still has what it takes to start in this league? Or is it time for him to hang up the cleats and join the booth? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments because this is about a player who defined our team for a decade. Before you go, please help us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Your support means everything to this channel. Don't forget to like the video and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on our Seahawks. Thank you for watching this special insider report.